Learn how to factor two type of problems. One type of problem which I call fun, and the other one that I call not so fun. Well, in reality, both of them are fun for me, but I thought it was funny to differentiate them that way. And actually, the reason why this is called not fun is because it requires a little bit more steps than the fun ones. All right. So let's take a look at the fun one. So the fun one is whenever you have a quadratic expression that you have to factor, and the leading coefficient or the number right next to the term that is squared is not there, or is a 1, okay? So technically we can say that there's a 1 there, okay? So in other words, if you don't see anything in front of the term that is squared, you're in a fun case. So for the fun case, it's really easy. All you have to do is observe. Let me do two little eyes there. Observe, that was terrible. Let me get rid of that. To observe the last term and think about what two numbers multiply to the last term, in this case 7, and those two numbers have to add up to 8. So let's see. 7 times 1, I know is 7, so I'm going to use those two numbers. 7 times 1 is 7, but if you think about it, 7 plus 1 is 8. I found them. 1 and 7 are those two specific numbers that multiply to the last term and add up to the middle term, in this case 8. So once you find that, that is it. All you have to do now is open two parentheses, one right next to each other, and write the letter being used, in this case it's the B, and write down those numbers that you found, positive 1 and positive 7. And there you have it. That is it. Okay? So now let's go to the not so fun problems. So whenever there's a number other than 1 in front of the p squared or the term that is being squared, these are the steps to be taken. Step 1, multiply the first term or the first number, the leading coefficient, and the last term, in this case negative 5. So 3 times negative 5. Let's see what that is. 3 times negative 5, that is negative 15. Now you must find two numbers that multiply to this negative 15, and at the same time these two numbers have to add up to the middle term, in this case negative 2. Well, if you think about it, 3 and negative 5, they add up to negative 2. And at the same time, if you multiply them, you hit negative 15, which was our original intention. So once you found out those two numbers, you're going to now rewrite the same expression. So step 2, you're going to write 3p squared. Instead of writing negative 2p, you're going to use these terms to write negative 2p. So in other words, you write plus 3p and minus 5p. And now you write the last term of the original expression, negative 5, okay? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Now you must perform something called factoring by grouping, which is basically to group the first two, group the last two, and be careful, there's a negative in the middle of the expression, so you must change this to positive or to invert the sign. So once we have this scenario, now we factor each parenthesis individually. So let's see, they have the 3 in common, so I can pull that out, and they have at least one p in common, so I can pull a p out. So that means that now we have 3p plus, let's see, plus 1. Okay, actually not 3. We pulled out the 3, so let me get rid of that. Okay, so we took out a 3, that's why there's a 3 outside, and they had a p in common, 1p, that's why there's only 1p outside. I'm going to do the same thing here. So in this case, when I look at this expression, the only thing I see they have in common is the 5. So I'm going to pull out the 5, which means that now I have left p plus 1, okay? When I look now at the whole expression, if you take a look, they have p plus 1 in common, okay? Let me highlight that for you. P plus 1 in common, p plus 1 in common. Guess what? Yes, you can factor that out, okay? So let me move down a little bit. And now I'm going to pull out the p plus 1. So here we go, p plus 1, close parentheses, they're gone. So now we write whatever's left, which in this case would be 3p minus 5. And there you have it.